For a very long time, Europe did not take India seriously, not economically or strategically. India existed in their reports and meetings, but in reality, Europe saw India as slow, underdeveloped, weak in manufacturing, and stuck in red tape. Europe believed India would grow, but not fast enough to matter. So Europe made a big bet elsewhere. That bet was China. Europe built its factories, supply chains, and trade around China. Cheap manufacturing, fast delivery, and massive scale. Europe thought this dependence was safe. They were wrong. In 2022, the Russia-Ukraine war exposed this mistake. China openly supported Russia. It bought Russian oil. It supplied equipment. And suddenly, Europe realized a hard truth. Its economy depended on countries that did not share its values or security interests. That's when Europe started looking for alternatives. And that's when India entered the picture. Not because Europe suddenly loves India, but because Europe needed options. Let's first understand why Europe turned toward India. India is one of the fastest-growing large economies in the world, growing around 7 to 8% every year, while Europe itself is barely growing. India has a population of 1.4 billion, and most of that population is young. Europe, on the other hand, is aging fast. Fewer workers, more retirees. India is also a democracy. It has courts, contracts, and a legal system that foreign companies can trust more than China's. India has millions of English-speaking engineers, doctors, and IT professionals. Its software and IT services already power much of Europe's digital economy. India also controls critical sea routes in the Indian Ocean, which are essential for global trade. All of this makes India useful. That is why the European Union suddenly revived the free trade agreement talks with India, talks that were stuck since 2005. And that is why the EU leadership started visiting India more often and calling this deal historic. Now look at the current trade reality. India and the EU already trade around $136 billion every year. India already exports more to Europe than it imports. India runs a trade surplus of about $20 billion. In software and IT services alone, trade is around $60 billion. Again, with India exporting more. So this is not a case where India is desperate. Trade already exists. The question is scale. Now, let's talk about what the FTA actually changes. The biggest change is tariffs. Indian textiles entering Europe currently face around 12% import tax. Under the deal, this goes to zero. That makes Indian products cheaper and more competitive. European luxury cars face very high import duties in India, sometimes over 100%. Under the FTA, this may come down to around 40%. Alcohol duties on European wine and whiskey may also reduce sharply. However, India refused to open agriculture and dairy. This is important. Millions of Indian farmers depend on protection. India did not bend here. This shows the deal is not one-sided. Now, what does India gain from this? First, exports. Textiles, medicines, steel, aluminium, jewelry, and chemicals become cheaper in Europe. Textile exports alone could grow from around $37 billion to nearly $100 billion over time. That means factories, jobs, and income inside India. Second, manufacturing. European companies want to reduce dependence on China. Many are expanding production in India. Car makers, defense companies, telecom firms, and consumer brands are setting up or scaling operations. This increases manufacturing volume inside India. Third, jobs and visas. Europe has an aging population and a labor shortage. Countries like Germany and France need workers in IT, healthcare, and engineering. Visa rules may slowly become easier for skilled Indian professionals. Fourth, geopolitics. Europe wants India as a balance against China. Europe wants cooperation in maritime security, shipping protection, counterterrorism intelligence, and cybersecurity. India gains political leverage and strategic importance. But now comes the hard reality check. Do not compare this to how China grew. China forced foreign companies to share technology. China had weak intellectual property enforcement. China used joint ventures to learn and copy. India cannot and should not do this. India has strong IP laws, independent courts, democratic checks. That means European companies will manufacture and assemble in India, but they will not share core technology, source code, or deep design secrets. India gets scale, not shortcuts. Now let's talk about the risks, because ignoring them is dangerous. First, carbon taxes. Europe is introducing carbon border taxes. Indian steel and aluminium exports may face extra costs if they are seen as polluting. This reduces competitiveness unless India upgrades its production methods. Second, compliance burden. Europe has strict rules. Environmental standards, safety rules, sustainability labels, certifications, these increase costs and paperwork. Many small Indian exporters may struggle to meet these requirements. Third, domestic competition. Cheaper European cars and alcohol will enter India. Indian manufacturers will face tougher competition at home. Some will lose market share. So let's kill the hype and face reality. Europe is not falling in love with India. Europe is correcting a strategic mistake. India gains jobs, exports, and global influence. But India also opens its market, accepts tough standards, and gets limited technology transfer. This deal is not magic. This deal is not disaster. It is a calculated trade-off. India is useful to Europe right now, not forever. Europe will always protect its core technologies, and India must upgrade fast, or lose the advantage. If India treats this deal like a victory celebration, it will waste the opportunity. If India treats this as a serious manufacturing and standards upgrade window, the long-term gain could be huge. This deal rewards execution. Not slogans, not emotion, only results. That's the real story.